From aspiring to be a cricketer to falling in love with computers, I have had fair share of fancy visions for my life. But the only thing that stayed with me throughout this time was my desire to interact and learn from whatever curveball life would throw at me. 21 years in the ever-changing corporate world has been a roller coaster, to say the least, and I haven't even half finished this ride. Hi, I'm Sachin Gadekar, strategic negotiator for Google Global Network Acquisition, and I'm here to have enriching conversation with our striving, ambitious youngsters. I grew up in a humble middle class family with my father working for Provident Fund and my mother being a homemaker. I was into cricket a lot from the very beginning and had dreamt of playing for India one day. We used to live in Borivali, and in those days, the proper cricket coaching only used to happen at Shivaji Park. And naturally, my parents wouldn't send me there alone out of concern. So the only time I could go there for practice was during my summer vacations, where my mother would accompany me and we would travel by local train. And rest of the year I would just play nearby home some friends in famous gully cricket. I remember watching Sachin Tendulkar, Vinod Kambli practicing in the next to me when they just had made a world record. I was junior to them, but I thought to myself that I want to be like them. But as I progressed further, I realized that just practicing for 2 months wasn't enough for what I wanted to achieve. And since I didn't live nearby, it wasn't really impractical for me to continue like this. But those lessons and efforts stayed with me for a long time during my school and college cricket days. Cricket's sports aside, during those days there were only career options available with only three paths: arts, commerce, and science, and finding a suitable job was a basic norm. Around the time of my ninth and 10th grade, I had decided that I would become an engineer. The computer used to entice me and always how things used to get communicated. So I decided to become a telecommunication engineer. Although it wasn't a popular field at that time and it was new, and I thought that I would want to be part of it to do something related to it at the IT industry and opened up some new great possibilities for network development. I completed my telecommunication engineering from Pune University and then my PGDBM from Symbiosis Institute of Management Studies. And those years, they completely changed my view of the world and who I am as a person. It ignited a new in me. I learned how to present myself in front of others. They were my developmental years, and not just academically, but shaped my personality. And I got to know so many different people from different parts of the country and how we would learn from each other, all new things. I have found myself a group of friends and we would stay with each other for rest of the life. We call ourselves Kurukshetrians and we have been sharing our love for trekking since those days, since we all met. Once we went on a trip to a nearby mountains and lost the correct route, where we lost the supply for water and we roamed around in a circle and circle quite for a long time, while before we figured out the right path. The only thing that got us through these obstacles was our friendship, and the friendship was very, very strong, and the faith in each other. We knew we could rely on each one of us together and we could come out of this victorious. And this wasn't just the case for our fun trips. We had each other's back when it comes to studies and curriculum as well. We never saw ourselves as competitive counterparts of one of another, but just the friends of a bunch of friends who wanted to nothing but the best for everyone. We solved others' doubts and had group studies sessions during exams, along with having a great time. Today, all my friends are doing really well in their lives and careers. It makes me happy to have shared my naive and lively experience with them. The dot com bubble had just burst during my graduation and have ravaged the job market not just in India but across the globe, leading a huge layoff for the experienced employees as well. So, who would want to have a newly graduate telecom engineer with no previous experience? And with no placement opportunity from the college, the job search had become really a big task. Those 6 to 9 months were like a nightmare. There used to be a great supplement called Ascent from the Times of India, where one could go and look for the jobs, for different vacancies available in the market. Also, if I got to know from someone that the interviews was happening, I would just go for a walk-in and then I would try my luck. It wasn't easy because you want to go to do something in your choice that you worked hard for. And if it's not happening, you tend to put pressure on yourself. That's where you need to reach out to people close to you and talk to them and about it and not go keep inside a rabbit hole with the mindset. The only trustworthy network that I had were my friends. Some of them had started working in Delhi, in Bangalore, and when we parted away from each other, and they used to help each other during those times. Finally, I got a trainee's role in a Hughes Telecom through a friend's reference. It was a private operator service provider in Maharashtra. It was later acquired by Tata Teleservices. There were a total of 21 trainees who joined together, and I was one of them. And obviously, there was no job guarantee after a year. We would become a permanent after a year. I wasn't really scared of this. I would get it or not, because I believed that 12 months was good enough of time to prove myself, and the job market at that time was really cruel. So this was my chance to have something to fall back on. It was a shift role where not a lot of engineering concepts were required, but implementation on operations. So there was a lot of scope for learning the new things. And I thought to myself, the more I learn in these 12 months, the more opportunity I will have to showcase my talent. If not here, somewhere else. I remember used to stay there way past my shift time. I felt that I could learn a lot from the other guys as well, especially in the night shifts. I used to leave at around 9. Those months, I put all my heart together, served together in my work, and that yielded the results for me. At the end of 1 year, out of 21 of us, 2 were selected as a permanent positions, and I was one of them, and I really loved working there. I took more of a planning role in my second job at Reliance Communications. At that time, it used to call Reliance Infocom. I spent there about 4 years, and I learned how to organize the backend things. Since I worked on the field earlier, it gave me a good opportunity. It gave me a good perspective how things works on the field, how things works technically on the ground. Earlier, I got experience how to overcome these challenges, like when a network is down, who will go in the shift, who will do the operations on the side, etc., etc. Those past experiences helped me in my new role. Uh, and I realized that as a part of having this role, it's very extremely important to maintain the relationships, how things goes further, how you interact with people at the corporate office, and as a planner, you have to make sure things that the things are getting done with the assigned within the assigned budget for each project. I made a switch from Reliance to Huawei, working there for a year. That time played an important role in my career. That time played an important role in my career. My new position was basically on the business side of the things. Then I started a job at Sienna as a solutions and pre-sales engineer, and soon I moved into a senior manager and a team leader role. After a few years, I moved from the pre-sales solutions engineer to a sales leader role, where I managed few accounts. And about for 7 to 8 years, I managed the accounts like Facebook, Microsoft in a director role at that company. And I was able to construct my career in a where I learned something new at every nook and corner while achieving my goal of administrating business aspects, coming from a technical background. I always wanted to be on the other side of the table. That's working for overall growth of a development of an organization and its personnel. That's why I'm shifted to Google to work on structuring activities as a strategic negotiator. I have always changed my job profile in 4 to 5 years, and because I believe it is necessary within the corporate world. You not only get bored but can also face stagnation in growth if you become complacent. When there is nothing new to learn in your surroundings, and the day you stop to learn, the day you stop to grow. Don't be afraid of experimenting. You never know what new you will discover from an unprecedented source. I cannot explain the things I've got to learn and explore with my son. His curiosity has taught me the value of different perspectives. So from time to time, put yourself forward for the new challenges by trying everything that interests you. That's the way you are not only enhancing your career but also an empirical life. Also, keeping a balance between professional and personal life is extremely important. Maintain your relationships. Take time out to go and talk to people. Enjoy your leisure activities, whatever time you want to spend. I still do a trek with my friends twice a year, and it all seems like yesterday when we were used to live together in the hostel. You must be thinking it is all said very smoothly for me, but it was the people and desire of trying new things around me that didn't create much friction for me. I can signal out significance of good connections and accords I have had. In this long career of mine, I can proudly say my contemporaries have played a vital role and have pushed me to do better. And my wife has been one of them. She has been my backbone throughout thick and thin. And coming from the same field of understood, she understood me and also my path, especially the struggles that I came through. She has been the constant that pushes me to do better, to be better. So don't be afraid of failing while trying. Just don't give up on your dreams just cause of one setback. When you graduate next till 12 to 24 months in your time, it's important for you to understand yourself and go out into you're passionate about. It's time where you have the leeway of pursuing your dream without any pressure. Keep that in momentum ignited in you, and if you are not certain about one thing, try everything that interests you. Then decide what direction you want to go. You can see that yourself. Cause if you don't experiment during this time, then it's very difficult to do the same thing maybe after 3 years or 4 years, because you have already established yourself on one path or another. That transition would be the ultimate risk that anyone can take. It's not impossible, of course, but it's not feasible as well. And social pressures definitely will play a big role. So put yourself forward in this world and plan on leaving your imprint over it. Thank you very much.